breakout or the next player to break out. ESPN predicts the breakout players for the 2024-2025 season, Chris, and the one and only Keon Ellis finds himself on the list.
Yeah, Keon Ellis is the Kings representative. They didn't actually do every single team in the NBA. It's just 11 NBA breakout players for the 24-25 season. ESPN.com's Jeremy Wu wrote this one. Shout out Jeremy, who usually does draft coverage and is now expanding to just general NBA. They have 4 different tiers. One of them is potential all-star leaps. That is tier 1. Tier 2 is not quite all-stars, but they're on the brink. Tier 3 is bigger roles incoming. And tier 4 is role players who could make greater impacts. And Keon Ellis, well, he falls into tier 4, unfortunately, but it's still one of the 11 names mentioned. The tier 4 criteria, or the, I guess you could say the subcontext, is don't expect fireworks or major awards, but these 3 players are set to make increased impacts on competitive teams. And the players listed: 1, Terrence Mann of the Clippers; 1, Tyus Jones of the Suns, so 2 other Pacific Division teams.
Of course.
And the third one is Keon Ellis. Neon Keon fits into tier 4 of the role players who could make greater impacts. Here's the write-up. Keon Ellis' ascension from undrafted find to legit NBA player was cemented last week. When? Well, when Stiles and Watkins broke that camp designated as Sacramento's starting 2 guard Keon Ellis would be. While that might not be permanent, with Malik Monk set to continue to come off the bench for now and Kevin Huerter still working his way back, he's the most defensive-minded option on a team that may benefit from staggering its various scores. Goes on to mention Keon's essentially what led to Keon being undrafted. 6'6", 175-pound guard took full advantage of last season's opportunity created by Huerter's injury. Whether he starts all season, Ellis's ability to fill in the blanks as a defender and spot-up shooter has become valuable to the Kings, particularly on a cheap contract that runs another season and in a lineup that now includes another offensively minded wing with DeMar DeRozan. That he does not need the ball as much is a feature, not a bug. With Domantas Sabonis at center, Sacramento will often be without a true rim protector, leaving it to guys such as Ellis, who's 24 years old, to help win extra possessions and disrupt passing lanes. If he can continue to shoot respectably from range, the Kings will have a hard time keeping him off the floor. Keon Ellis, tier 4 of the 11 players in the NBA who are poised for a breakout season. Just to name the other ones, in tier 1, the potential all-star leaps, he has Evan Mobley, who I will also be waiting for that leap. Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. In tier 2, for the not quite all-stars, but they're on the brink, listed as Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets, Jalen Untouchable Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks, and we have Jalen Williams of the OKC Thunder. For tier 3, bigger roles incoming, that is 1, Josh Giddey, and my best friend, Brandon Pajemski, along with Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets. So there you go. There's your 4 tiers, 11 players who are poised for a breakout season this year.
I mean, you knew Pods was going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you say Kuminga?
I did not. No. I definitely did not.
Huh.
You can't have back-to-back breakout seasons, you know.
I mean,
how many times do you break it out? You know,
you can get to all-star level.
Yeah, he could. He definitely could, but that would take the Warriors winning games and him playing at the level that he did last year.
I think Keegan Murray deserved a shout in this one as well.
Where would you have put him?
I'm not sure, but he deserves to be in there, Chris.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think you could definitely pick a couple
almost
different guys.
All-stars,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put guys like Jalen Green in there, or I'm sorry, Jalen Green in there. If you're going to put Jalen Williams in there, maybe. I think it's just the opportunity isn't quite lined up for Keegan like those other guys. I'm sure, especially from the national perspective, you're thinking of it like DeMar DeRozan's coming in and he's going to take shots directly away from Keegan. And I think a lot of people from the outside are definitely probably looking at this as a bad sign for Keegan's development. If you're looking for him to eventually be a 20-point per game scorer, I wouldn't think that this is going to be the year to predict it. And so I kind of feel like Keegan maybe is falling a bit under the radar, but I think it's because people think that his role is going to be severely reduced with DeMar out there. And will it? Possibly, potentially, they definitely kind of bump into each other in some spots. But I do think from an efficiency standpoint, I just think that DeMar's addition, maybe some numbers across the board are down for guys, but I think the efficiency is going to be the real thing to look at. Just how much better looks are guys getting? And they might not be taking as many shots, but are they hitting it at a higher percentage? I mean, Keegan took 36% from three last year after being 41 his rookie season. I just think he's a lot more of a 40% from three kind of guy than the 36%. I feel like that's really where you're going to see a guy like Keegan improve, and it might not be in the numbers. He might be right back at 15 points per game, but this time it's going to be at 40% from three, and maybe 48 to 50% from the field too. I think that's the thing you have to get if your Keegan is just more efficiency across the board, but also, man, can you get to the free throw line, please?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see Keegan Murray, who, when we talked about last year, who's the best free throw shooter on this team, we said we think it is actually Keegan Murray. He just never gets to the line to show it. And so if Keegan could really improve on that part of his game, that could maybe be where he actually improves his points per game, because that's the easiest way. If you get those free throws, that's really the easiest way to bump your per game points.
Coming up next, Jay Glazer on the Devontae Adams situation.